Welcome everyone to my newest mini series video about goal setting for the future. We're going to focus on different strategies, benefits, and specifically talk about how to formulate SMART goals. My name is Lisa Erickson. I am the College and Career Coordinator, and I'm excited to be sharing this information with you. So, when it comes down to it, in order to get the results we want, we have to set goals for ourselves. And so, it's important to realize that goal setting is something that's important. It can help trigger new behaviors for us because we now see what we need to do to get to where we want to go. It can help us be a guide down this path to get to where we want to be. It can help us when it comes to maybe feeling a little bit stagnant, maybe getting a little bit maybe caught up in day to day activities and not always necessarily thinking about the future. It can help give us that additional momentum that we often need. And it can help us when it comes to motivation. We all go through difficult experiences. Sometimes are better than others. There's those up and down experiences, kind of the roller coaster of life, if you will. And so having these goals to continue to work towards can help us stay more motivated. So now when we talk about achieving our goals, we are going to talk about creating SMART goals. And when I say SMART, I am referring to this acronym of specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time based. So it's important that you can specifically state what it is you want from your goal. And a measurable piece is important because you have to be able to look at that goal and say, did I achieve it? If I didn't, what can I maybe go back and change? How much of it was I able to get done? Sometimes you have to break them down a little bit more. Attainable. Make sure this is something that is within reason, right? And if it doesn't feel attainable, maybe for this big, huge, lofty goal, maybe scaling it back is a really good idea and breaking it into really small ones that do feel a little bit more attainable. Are they relevant? Think about it. Why would you want to achieve this goal that you're setting for yourself? Is it going to put you in a better place in your personal life, in your education, or specifically your career as we move forward here? And then make sure you have a deadline. You want to say, within 6 months, I want to do this, within 1 year, within 2 weeks. I mean, it could be anything. But if you don't have that timeline to gauge, it's going to be really difficult to see if you're making the progress that you need to. So let's talk about some of these strategies that we can utilize that can help us get to where we want to go. Make sure you're writing down your goals. If you can see them, you can look at them frequently. You can then see how real they are, right? Whether it's a post-it note on the wall, whether it's a list somewhere, whether it's what you bring up when you log into your computer and you bring up those goals and you reread them, making them visible is so important that they are this constant reminder and that you're never, too far off that path to get to where you want to go. So this next one's important too about identifying potential obstacles. And sometimes you might not see them from the get-go, but it's important to be realistic, and there will be things that maybe deter you from the path. There might be things that push back your goal. The one that you hope to do in 6 months might be more of a 1 year to 2 year goal, depending. And so there's a lot of things to think about when it comes to those different obstacles. So by breaking them down, like I mentioned, sometimes these goals are too big and it can feel overwhelming. And so breaking it down into those small little pieces can be much more attainable, if you will. The next one's really important is developing a plan. Think about that. What are the steps you're going to take? How can you kind of break down an action plan where you can keep yourself on track? Are you going to, list out a whole plan and kind of check, 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 go through each one of these items? Do you have, something that's going to kind of bring you full circle back to make sure you're achieving these things? Are you going to maybe be accountable by sharing these goals with other people? And that might be a part of the plan too. Maybe your friends and family, you can get them involved and say, hey, this is where I want to be. I need your help. I need you to help me stay on track to get where I want to go. And then reflecting and adjusting. It's never going to work out exactly as we hope. Not quite. You might be able to stay on your timeline and be really successful, but there will probably be some things that come at you in some way, shape, or form. So be realistic. Don't feel too defeated. Instead, reread it, review it, make adjustments, make changes, because sometimes after we set a goal, then we see how much progress we can make in a month, 2 months. And our idea of, hey, I want to be here in 6 months, we realize is just not going to work. So that's when we kind of step back and we think, okay, so maybe instead I change my 6 month goal and make it this, and I make my year goal, which seems much more attainable as kind of that overarching goal that you're trying to achieve. Okay. So it's important to see the benefits too from goal setting, especially when it comes to our careers, because that's really what the focal point is here. So think about that. Think about where you want to be, where you want to go. As you are setting these goals, it can help you to better evaluate your life and think, hey, this is where I'm at, and this is the place I want to be in the near future, right? It can help with direction, figuring out where you are right now, where your starting point is, and where you're going to go, what steps you need to take, what changes you need to make. And then thinking about your priorities. As we think about our jobs, per se, like for this exact video, thinking about what you want to do in the future. Is it what you're already doing now? Do you love it? Do you want to get more certifications, another degree? Do you want to continue on this path, trying to grow in that sense? Or do you think maybe there's a different path for you? Do you want to talk to people, friends, family, see what their careers are like? Maybe someone who seems really happy and enjoying that. Maybe you want to see what they're doing and maybe look into that a little bit more. Goals are a great motivator, right? And they can help us when it comes to this level of happiness and satisfaction that we're all working towards. But it's important that we figure out what we need personally, because everyone's goals are going to be just a little bit different. So I already mentioned career. Let's talk about this a little bit more when it comes to both those short term and long term goals. It's important to have both, maybe a variety, thinking within this next little while, this is what I want to do. But over time, this is my end goal and this is where I want to be. Everyone's careers are going to be different. As I mentioned, the advancement, the path you take, all of those things are going to look different. But start thinking about a new skill, thinking about building your network. Think about what you need to do to earn that promotion or move into a new, just a new position that maybe is more of what you're hoping for, right? Do you want to start a business? Do you want to do your own thing, taking all these things that you've learned and apply them in that way? Or do you like working for another company and you feel like you can be successful and grow there? So there's really a lot to think about when it comes to setting these career goals for ourselves, right? There's also other people around you, once again, that you never are we in this vacuum all alone, right? You have, managers, coworkers, friends, family, a lot of people that you can go to for guidance and advice. Maybe your manager who knows your skills and has seen you work could give you a little bit of kind of a context of what they think would be a good place for you. They can give you some ideas of maybe what your path could look like, or what they see for you in the future, right? Be proactive. I can't say this enough. Look for advancements, look for opportunities, see what's out there, ask around. Don't be afraid. Look online, take advantage of different websites and, seeing what, once again, people around you as they're growing. Maybe, connect with your LinkedIn site and see maybe there's somebody there who's talking about how great their job is. And then you want to work towards that. Maybe they have some ideas as to what kind of a goal you can set to get to where they are, if that's what you would like to do. Okay. So go the extra mile as you're engaged in your own position, finding if it's the spot for you, what you can do for those next steps, what goals you can set for yourself to get to where you need to be. Okay. So, really quickly, be sure you're mapping out your goals. Think about those SMART goals. Make sure they fit that criteria as you're creating these goals, because goals really do help us to learn and grow. It's not I have to do this or I'm not successful. Rather, it's those stepping stones as you're kind of moving up that staircase to get to where you want to be. And things might not always go the way you want them to, but you'll be moving in that right direction, right? So, as you're open to setting these goals, as you're open to exploring your potential in your career, you'll find so much. And eventually, I think you'll find the right spot for you if you have not found that yet, but you need to make sure you're taking those steps for yourself. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate you. Reach out if you have questions.